Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Brian Newhouse, and I'm pleased to start our Google Hangout a couple minutes late, though. We had little technology issues, mostly having to deal with my Ludditism. And we've got about 25, 27 minutes here with Tim Sharp, who's the Executive Director of the American Choral Directors Association. Now, I'm saying good afternoon because, Tim, you and I are in the central time zone, and others are going to be joining us from other time zones, but where you are in Oklahoma City and where I am in St. Paul, Minnesota, it's just a bit after 1:30.
And I'm happy to share a time zone with you, Brian.
So how hot is it right now in Oklahoma City?
We have not reached triple digits today, so we're hoping we're not going to break 100, but we're right at the cusp. We're around 98, 99.
Well, you're looking pretty cool in that dapper jacket, I have to say. You're styling.
Thank you, sir. Good to be with you.
So we've got folks here who are ACDA members, they're Minnesota Public Radio listeners, they're American Public Media fans. I'm just going to do a quick elevator speech on who I am and where I'm at so people get grounded there, and I'll ask you to do the same. So Brian Newhouse from Minnesota Public Radio and American Public Media. I'm the Managing Director of the Classical Division, a network of stations and programs, and a fabulous team of about 30 people here who make radio shows. And we also innovated a couple of years ago a 24-hour choral stream. And it's found a nice national audience, international audience of people who love choral music and can find it anywhere, any time of day, and that's at minnesotapublicradio.org/choral. I'm a choral singer myself, choral geek. One of my first memories is being a little tiny kid in a choir, and I get the rare opportunity to be able to exercise that right now and find new audiences who love this as much as I do.
Fantastic.
So that's enough about me. Mr. Tim, tell me about yourself.
I'm Tim Sharp, Executive Director of the American Choral Directors Association. I, too, am a choral geek. I've been a singer all my life and love choirs. I love being saturated by conducting and singing in them and hearing them and traveling with them. I'm in the same camp as you, Brian. I've been Director of American Choral Directors Association for 6 years now, going on my 7th year. We're located here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. We've been in this building since around 2002, 2003. We were in Lawton, Oklahoma, as a national office before that, and even before that, we were in Tampa, Florida. But Oklahoma is the home for our national office. We have 12 staff members here. I too delight in working with them. They carry out lots of functions that we'll talk about maybe in the next few minutes that serve our membership. We have about 20,000 members in ACDA, and they're all choral directors or themselves or industry members are somehow related to the leadership of the choral work in the United States. ACDA was one of the founding members of the International Federation for Choral Music, so I also get to represent choral activity in the United States to my peers in choral organizations around the world. And we're delighted to report that choral music is alive and well, and we're big fans of Minnesota Public Radio. Many of, I'm sure, ACDA members have discovered you all a long time ago, and we're just big fans of what you do to support choral music.
And the cool thing about and really the reason you and I are gathered around these computer monitors and screens and bizarre cameras, especially for a radio guy who is just like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? Is to announce something pretty special, I think, between our two organizations. We've just created an agreement by which content that the American Choral Directors Association has, and I'm going to let you speak about what that might be, will be finding its way to American Public Media and our audiences via our choral stream, through broadcasts, through a variety of ways. But Tim, this is incredibly exciting because your organization you lead is 50+ years old, and you've been making recordings, I assume, for a long while, and you've probably got unbelievable stuff there sitting in vaults.
We do, Brian. We've got, as you say, over 50 years of our conferences, and our conferences have represented the best in choral performance as well as choral music education through our interest sessions. But those recordings that you speak of, we have literally hundreds, and when you think of individual pieces, thousands of individual pieces that have been recorded over time, and we have them here in our archives, and we're thrilled that we can make those public through your work and Minnesota Public Radio, American Public Radio. These are archival recordings that really not only were great performances in those days when they were recorded, but they also track the growth of the choral profession in the United States since 1959. We have all of our luminaries that we've known over the years. Many of us, like you said, you're a choral singer, I'm a choral singer. The great choral directors that have worked with our choirs, we have those in our archives with their choirs. So we have, we just have this gold mine, really, of recordings that so many layers of that we want to share with beyond our members, but to also choral lovers that listen to your broadcast.
So, you know, just to get a sense of scale here, you have around 20,000 members, you said.
Right, right.
And each one of those leads an ensemble, I assume, of some size. So I extrapolate out from there. How many folks, you know, are you touching every year?
Yeah, it's a tough number to get your head around, but as you say, these directors not only conduct perhaps a principal choir, but they may have 2 or 3 choirs under their leadership. So when I extrapolate that, and then I think of all the homes and all the people the audiences that come to those performances, you know, we're in the thousands and we're in the millions of individuals, and that's the real joy of this. I think choral music is really a backdrop to American society. It's always there. It's in every town. You know, choirs are present. I think we have a choral culture in the United States, and so we're really talking about thousands and millions of people, but thousands of choirs.
Now, tell me how, besides that your day job, quote unquote day job of executive director, how many choirs are you conducting, and what do they look like? What's their ages, all that stuff?
Well, I do get to represent ACDA and work with choirs around the country in different kinds of locations and opportunities. Those are honor choirs, or sometimes they're clinics and symposia, wherever we can take the mission of what ACDA represents, which is excellence in choral music education and performance. But I also have one very special choir, the Tulsa Oratorio Chorus in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that I've been conducting for 5 years, and they are my day in and day out choir. They're the ones that really I have the wonderful discipline of recruiting and auditioning and performing with on a regular basis. So one choir that's very special in that sense, and then the opportunity to see lots of choirs around the country.
Getting some questions via email here, and I want to ask you from this one came in from Connie. Hello, Connie, wherever you're listening to. Tim, how are you using your position at ACDA to make the organization more globally relevant?
Oh, thanks. That's a great question, Connie. We are, first of all, I have to say, as a founding member of the International Federation for Choral Music, we are networking our organization with other countries, and with that networking has come wonderful programs. We have a great program called the International Conductors Exchange Program that is led by some of our membership. T.J. Harper is the chair of that work, and we have now 3 years of conductors exchanges that are going on, first between Cuba and the United States. The second year we have worked with China, and next year we're working with Sweden, and beyond that we'll be working with South and Central America. And this is a program where we exchange conductors. Conductors from those countries come to us, and we send conductors to them. So it's one wonderful way of making the world smaller, and even though it's the scale is not large on any given year, we're growing those conductors that are having those exchange programs. So that's wonderful piece. Another piece that I'm very proud of for our organization is a national youth choir that will represent choral music making in the United States to other countries. And we also are really working on a very exciting project with the South American countries called America Cantat, in which over the next 2 years we'll be working to host all of the countries of the Americas here in North America for a wonderful festival. So these events are great opportunities, and we're bringing more and more choirs from the international realm to our national and division conferences. So I think we're making the world smaller, and our ears are opening up to great new sounds and great new literature, and our membership, of course, embraces it and loves that aspect of what we're able to do.
I just got another question from this one came in from Brian, not me. And they're speaking of literature. What's the biggest change in literature over the past 50 years in the U.S. that you've seen? Are there similar trends abroad? He's looking at kind of a 15,000-foot question here about
no,
the
it's a great
landscape of
question.
literature.
It's a great question, and it's one that I'm always monitoring myself. What do I see changing, and what's the future of choral music, and where are we headed? Actually, it's one of the issues that we're looking forward to showing and demonstrating through our alliance with you, and that is the changing face and the changing sounds of choral performance in the United States. I would say, to answer the question directly, though, that the biggest change that I've seen is the incredible work that's being done by contemporary composers and the attraction of our choirs and our conductors to contemporary literature. I think that has been an overwhelming change. Not that anyone has forsaken the canon and the great pieces of the past, but the ability to share literature and to find literature from lots of sources of contemporary composition has been a thrill for me to see, and it's certainly been the trend for the last decade as I've watched our conferences. It's very common to hear performances now at an ACDA conference and have the composer right there in the audience with us. So I'd say new composition and the opportunity for composers to really get a second and third hearing now, and to have their music widespread and known, and actually for composers to be able to make a living composing choral music has been the greatest change for me.
And you're speaking from the heart and experience for that, because you are also a composer. Your High Lonesome Mass is a wonderful piece. I've been listening to and watching some of the video distribution of it on YouTube the last several days. Are you working on new pieces yourself while you wear all these hats?
Yeah, like yourself, we choral geeks, we're saturated in choral music, and we love it. I would say, for me, I've been a consumer of choral music. I'm a consumer of the greatest pieces of the past. My Tulsa chorus performs Brahms and Mendelssohn, Mozart. We have Carl Orff on our program scheduled next year. This is regular work for me to explore and mine the past literature, but I also really love experimenting and looking at the new voices, new sounds of contemporary composers. So it's something I'm attracted to, but as you said, with YouTube and with other technical possibilities now, I'm able to share some of my music with others, and some people have picked it up, and I love that. As a banjo player, I wrote High Lonesome Mass with my collaborator, Wes Ramsey, who is a musical genius. We worked together on this piece, and I have to admit, partly so that I'd have a piece to play on the banjo that's choral. So I've enjoyed that. So I'm not only a consumer of music, getting others and using others' music, I like to contribute some of my own ideas. And the High Lonesome Mass came from my background growing up in Appalachia, and some of the Sacred Harp tunes that are in there are my desire to explore that kind of literature.
Well, now you've got to have your banjo in your office there with you, right?
You caught me on a day I don't. I can't believe it. It's not in my office today. It's at home. Had I been thinking, I would have brought that along. But usually the banjo is a stretch to get to from a choral conversation.
Hey, okay. Let me talk about that, or ask about that pretty thick conductor's baton over your shoulder behind you there.
Oh.
What's that about?
Actually, that's a Louisville Slugger. That's a baseball bat. You've got good eyes. I was born in Louisville, so Louisville, Kentucky is that's one of my relics to remember my hometown. And as I said, with my whole High Lonesome Mass, I grew up in Kentucky, so that's part of my own background. And I like to keep a few of those things around to remind myself where I came from, and baseball. Here we are in the summer to remind myself of what I'd like to be doing this afternoon.
So do you play baseball?
No, I watch. I like collecting fields and collecting. As I travel around for ACDA, it's fun to experience the ballparks around the country. So whenever I get a chance to jump into a field in the summertime, that's where I'll be on a summer night.
Now, I know you've got some travel to Europe coming up. Just through Facebook, I've been seeing some friends' pictures of this amazing phenomenon in the Baltic countries of these 20, 30,000 voice strong choirs of these singing festivals or song festivals. Estonia happens to be going on, I think, right now. Are
Yeah.
you heading to that, or where are you going, and what are you going to do there?
Yes, I'm heading over there. I'm going to go to Estonia. I'm going to go to Tallinn and see one of my peers in our choral work there, and then I'm heading down to Latvia from Estonia, where I'll participate as a spectator for an event called the World Choir Games. We hosted that event in the United States in Cincinnati a couple of years ago in the summertime, and so this is that same event, but this year it's going to be in Riga and Latvia. So I'll go through Estonia and then down to Riga to hear hundreds of choirs. There are over 300 choirs that are coming to that event, and literally from all around the world. So when I go to events like that, I'm able to see a lot of colleagues in choral circles from everywhere, but I'm also able to hear choirs that I would not be able to travel that much, in a lifetime, really, to hear what I'll get to hear in the next week. So it's a grand opportunity to hear wonderful choirs and to network with wonderful colleagues who are doing the same kind of thing that ACDA is doing all around the world.
So is the benefit to the ACDA that you're going to get to meet these ensembles, hear them, and consider them for some of these other festivals that you pull together? Or really, what's the organizational benefit for that?
Absolutely. Well, you've hit it on the head. It's a chance for me to, in 1 week, to hear a whole year's worth of choirs, and there's always great surprises there. There are always new choirs, new countries, new sounds, new composers, things that I am completely surprised by when I hear it, and I'm able to take those to our officers and leaders and our artistic committees that are planning our conferences and make suggestions to them. So I think the benefit is a very real contemporary knowledge on my part, and then of course I'll meet the directors and I'll have a contact, and I'm able to give that to our conference artistic leaders for their consideration. So that's one of the great benefits. Another benefit for me is to really get good ideas and best practices and emerging practices from colleagues in other countries that have strong choral cultures as well. So it's an informing time. It's a networking time, and it's certainly, I guess, in that sense, a shopping moment for ACDA. And I should say also, some of the very fine groups that we'll feature at our next conference, they're going to be performing there, and it gives me a chance just to bring them up to speed on plans for what we're doing here in the United States. So I'll be able to talk to the real group, for example. I'll be able to talk to the Latvian Voices. I'll be able to talk to the King Singers. All of these groups will be there, and it gives me a chance to talk to their manager or to their agent or whoever is there with them.
How do you think the role of ACDA can change and will change, when you and I are sitting here 5 years from now, and in terms of technology and new audiences? And what's your organization's take on using the tools at hand to expand, the gospel of this wonderful art form?
Yeah, I think one of the big areas is in composition. It's part of our mission statement to pursue excellence and to promote excellence in composition. And we've seen a revolution, of course, in our ability to distribute and sample and hear new sounds from composers. So that's probably one of the strongest ones that's very apparent. And ACDA has a social networking site that reaches hundreds of thousands of people every year in CoralNet, and through that we're able to establish communities, small communities of different types of choral interests. We're able to showcase composers, new composers, seasoned composers. I think all of those aspects of what the net provides us are things that ACDA will continue to exploit, and I'm very pleased to see how many people use CoralNet on a daily basis. We're able to, for example, those that want to, we can contact them every morning to show them the new choral news, things that are happening around the world. When I'm in Latvia next week, in Estonia, I will be videotaping some of those interviews that I'll have with composers, and that will be instantaneously uploaded. So I think the ability to be current, the ability to think programmatically in exciting new ways are just a small sample of what we're going to be able to do and will continue to be able to do.
That's super. Now I'm looking at my clock, my watch here, and I'm seeing that this time has fled by. So I'm going to shorten up my questions, and if you shorten up your answers, we're going to, because we got a bunch of them that have just come in over email, and they're coming faster and more furious. So
okay, good deal.
I'll get to them. Charlie is asking, not being flippant, but you're based in Oklahoma. Do you and your choir ever perform the title piece from Rodgers and Hammerstein?
Where the wind comes sweeping down the plains. We do. It's a right of entry. It's a requirement, and we sing it in the 7th inning in ball games here. So yes, my choir sings it, and we learn it just like the national anthem. Great question.
All right. So Mary wants to know, when you tour in Europe, do the audiences there expect more music from America from you?
Well, they do. They really respond well to our heritage. And I toured with my choir. We went to Dublin and England over Ireland and England over the seasonal break this year, December, January, and we sang some of the Sacred Harp and Appalachian songs that I referenced earlier, and they took to them wonderfully. They relate to that part of our migration from those countries to the United States, and they really relate to the songs that were from the Sacred Harp or the Southern Harmony, and I was really pleased to see that. Also, we know that our heritage in spirituals, our heritage in folk songs, is our heritage in jazz, are unique to the United States, and we know that choirs do and audiences respond very favorably when we bring music of our own to them. Did I lose you, Brian?
And how do you provide resources and support for them?
Can you repeat the question, Brian? I'm sorry, I lost you for a second.
Terry's wondering about how many of your ACDA members are active in a temple or church worship settings, and what are the resources for support of them?
Yes, that's a big area for ACDA. In terms of their full-time position, I would say maybe 18 to 20% of our membership actually come from churches or temple, synagogue, but a huge number, 75 to 80% of our members are part-time or have some relationship to music of faith communities. So it's a very active area, and the numbers don't completely show in terms of our membership how many people really are in faith communities and singing in churches and synagogue and temple. So it's a great question, and thanks to the good work of our repertoire and standards area for ACDA, I think over the last 5 or 6 years we've really developed wonderful attention to church musicians and synagogue musicians. You'll see more programming going on at our national conferences now, and tracks going directly to that particular area. So it is an area of great attention and growing attention for our organization.
Tim I think in Salt Lake wants to know, give us a preview of what's coming up at the ACDA National Conference next February in Salt Lake.
Yeah, it's a great question, Tim. We're going to be featuring some wonderful groups. The Real Group will be there from Sweden. The King Singers will be there. Of course, we can't come to Salt Lake City without showing one of our great choirs in the United States. The Mormon Tabernacle Choir will be featured, and Mac Wilberg is preparing a wonderful program for us. you spoke earlier, Brian, of Estonia. One of the great features of our event is going to be a Saturday night community sing in which Matt Wilberg will actually do the programming for it, but the entire attendees, along with about 15,000 other people, will gather in the assembly hall or the conference center there of the LDS Church, and we're going to have a Estonian size singing on Saturday night, which is actually trying to do exactly what they do, and that is bring a whole community, that many thousand people together in community songs. So that'll be a very special event. We've got the Estonian Philharmonic Chorus coming, and the strings from Tallinn are coming. So another reason for my visit to Estonia is to solidify some of that aspect of our work. They will be there. The Santa Fe Desert Chorale will be there. From Ireland, we'll have Anuna coming to sing for us. We'll also have wonderful master classes with Helmut Rilling. We'll have a master class with Simon Halsey. We'll have master classes with John Nelson. Fantastic world conductors there that will be with us. We'll have the singing sergeants from the Air Force will be there. We have wonderful honor choir directors. Bob Chilcott is one of those conductors. We love Bob's work, and Bob will be there for our junior high singers and the honor choir. Andre Thomas will be there as a conductor. So the honor choirs will be fantastic. We have a track just for composers. Stephen Samitz is helping us to design that track so that we'll have a special interest waived all the way through the event just for composers. We'll have the Salt Lake Orchestra will perform for us. They'll do Eric Essenwald's commission piece. Jake Heggie has been commissioned to write a piece for us that will be premiered by the King's Singers, and I can go on and on and on, but I'll stop right there.
This is like Thanksgiving dinner, you know, like it just keeps coming. It sounds like this thing is spread out over a month, right, to cram all that in there?
Yeah, it's one of the criticisms that we always get. People say I can't get to all of it. So you know, it is like, you're right, Thanksgiving dinner. It's an incredible sample and slice in time of choral practice around the world. And coming back to American Public Radio, you know, these are the kinds of programs that we will be recording and that we'll rebroadcast through you, so that not only our attendees can hear it, but we, you know, the whole listening audience and others beyond our attendees in Salt Lake City will get to hear it. And then 2 years from now, I want to give you breaking news. We're going to be in Minneapolis for our national conference. So we're actually coming to your hometown, or your town, Twin Cities, and we'll be there in 2017. And what we're really hoping is our partnership with you will lead to perhaps even a live broadcast of all those events when we come in 2017.
Well, let's consider that done, okay?
Good deal.
You and me.
Right.
Now we've just got a second or two left. Yeah. Tim, I think it took us so darn long to get all this technology set up, mostly because I have no idea what I'm doing, and I've got great friends here who can make me look good. But I want to have you not swing your camera around your office, but tell me some of the things that are on your desk that would just show me more of the sharpness of Tim Sharp. Okay?
Oh my goodness, that's a great question. Well, let's see. Here is a writing inkwell. Can you see this from China?
Okay, yeah, got that.
Reminds me that a lot of my work is being done in writing, so I do writing. I didn't bring my banjo, but I have a very small version of a banjo here. And let's see over here. Well, let me see what I've got working on. Oh, this is fun. I have the facsimile of the B minor Mass of J.S. Bach. So. That's very close to my desk. For some reason, I've got that on top. I have a bobblehead.
Of who? Oh, that's you.
Me.
How did you get a bobblehead of yourself?
I know. You know you've really come somewhere when you actually have a bobblehead. But my Tulsa Oratorio Chorus actually gave this to me this year, gave me my own bobblehead. So that allows me to put my bobblehead next to Bill Clinton and other bobbleheads. Kevin Durant's over here from the Thunder, and other bobbleheads on my desk. So that's just here's another one. This one's fun. This is a tail of a humpback whale.
Oh my
Not
gosh.
really.
Okay.
That's from Newfoundland. I was just up in Newfoundland with some of our Canadian choral friends, and I brought back that relic. So all these little trinkets remind me of all the friends around the world and all the wonderful aspects that I'm able to participate in music. I came to Oklahoma City from Memphis, so here's Elvis is taking care of business. I have to take care of business every day, which deals with membership and spreadsheets and things like that. So, but thanks for asking. That's the first time anyone's asked what's on my desk.
Well, now I feel like I really know you, and this complex world you've got yourself in.
Very good.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Tim, awful lot for taking time this afternoon. And this will be on our website. It'll be archived for ACDA members and American public media audiences to access whenever they want. And they can just check out our 24-hour choral stream at minnesotapublicradio.org/choral. And that is going to be the place where we position and program in the best of some of these fabulous archive recordings that the ACDA is making at its national conventions. And so eager to get that pipeline built and oiled and working so choirs all around the country and around the world can enjoy the riches of what you've got. Thanks very much, Tim.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.